Hello friends, your resident theme park employee here, and welcome to Cannonball Cove. That's right, Coaster Monkey Studios is back with another episode of Shenaniganilandia, and we've got a doozy for you today. This build took me 22 hours, and every single second, whew, honestly, it was totally worth it. This is such a great build. It looks so good in the park. I can't wait for you to see the final thing all together as we're building it. But here we are, we're going to start it out. A lot of this structure, a lot of people have been asking me all over Reddit, all over all the other, social channels that I have, I really wish they can use all these platforms. Well, we created one section of this that has a full platform that is usable by our guests. I did cut a lot out of this video. If I didn't cut a lot out of this video, you would probably end up with an hour-long video. I was able to get it under 30 minutes, which is kind of exciting because holy moly, this was a long video. So here we are. We built out our platforms. We kept it super simple and easy. I didn't want to overdo it with these because these are going to be the only working platforms for this particular build, portion of the build, I should say. But as you can see here, I needed to build out some additional stuff to kind of flesh out the area. So once we built those slides, this particular piece actually exists in the water park that I work in. It's a palm tree that spins and shoots waters out of the sides of it. It's really cool, and it does exactly what it needs to do. And we were able to create that here. This is something that's going to end up on the workshop along with this entire build. So once this video goes live tomorrow, all of this stuff will already be on the workshop for you guys to download for yourselves. I wish you could just search by user on the workshop, right? Like, how great would that be? It's like, hey, Coaster Monkey Studios, and boop, you can get all of my builds. But if you join our Discord, yes, we've got a Discord. You can find the link in the section below with all the information about the video. We would call it copy in my industry. With all the copy, inside of there, you'll find the link to our Discord. You can join our Discord and hang out with us there. There isn't many of us. There's only about 20 of us right now, but that's awesome. I'm so appreciative of the 20 of us. We have such a great community that we're building, and I'm really excited to have more people join. So if you want to join, every single one of my workshop links you can find there, and there's a lot there. There's a ton. But as you can see, we had that spinning water thingy, and that's just going to be a fixture that you'll find throughout this area. Now, yes, we are building the Tippie Buckets. Tippie Buckets are coming for this entire structure, but there is another video on my channel that speaks to how to build a Tippie Bucket. So if you want, it's the video right before this. Definitely check that video out. It'll give you the full breakdown step by step on how to create a Tippie Bucket with the water flow and everything. We're going to skip over that in this video because in all honesty, if I would have kept it in the video, this video would have been an hour long. It was so much. So I show you a little bit of it here, but if you want to check it out, I'll link it in the video below. I'll link it in the comments below. I'll link it in the copy below. There we go. For you to go back and where to find that video. And you can watch the step-by-step on how to create the water flow and the trigger sequence to build out the Tippie Buckets. But here we are. So my inspiration for that. So the theme park that I work at has one of these structures. And we use that as our basis for this structure. We wanted it to feel like it was very multi-level. It was very faceted. It was very layered, if you will, and that's what we went after. We wanted to have a very layered effect, and it started with this centerpiece. This centerpiece is the obviously the pinnacle point of this particular attraction, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to build out the attraction around this centerpiece, and it was very methodical the way we thought this out because we wanted it to have multi-levels and multi-layers and steps, and each one of those steps and layers would have different things that would speak to the water attraction, and that's what we were going after here. There's a lot of pipe work in here, but again, this whole area is still pirate. So the base theme is pirate, and everything built around it is a little bit more modern, right? There's pipes in there, there's squirty things, there's valves you can spin and it'll turn water on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 slides. And you'll see later on, Mio Art, amazing creator, created these awesome water guns. For these types of structures, and we were able to put those into the park here, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But as you can see, it really is a mixture of this textile that we used for the pirate ship structure a couple of episodes back. So that same type of metallic structure that looks like it's got a plastic coating on it. It's a mixture of that with the wood. So we're going to pretend that this wood is maybe metal that's been painted or plastic that's been painted. Because that's what the structure is that in my theme park that I work at. So all of these roof structures, all of this stuff would be some sort of plastic and or metal that has been painted or treated to look like real wood. And that's what we went after for this particular build. Now, originally, this whole area was going to have a blue accent, right? Because if you haven't noticed, all of our water areas, they're themed to a different color story, right? So this color story was originally supposed to be blue, but I feel like the blue was really clashing with the yellow. And since we created these amazing palm trees or banana trees that had like the water coming out of them, and we had banana trees thrown all around, my instinct was to go yellow, brown, black, banana, right? Hi, it's Coaster Monkey. Hello. So we kind of built all these out with that intention. So you'll see all the slides go yellow. We'll see all of the accents go yellow. All the pipework goes yellow. And there's just a ton of different ways for our guests to enjoy all these different multi-platform areas around this particular play structure. And here we are with, obviously we've got the best part of this new build, these pipes. I mean, I've been using these pipes everywhere for many of the build. We've been using it for running water. We've been using it for slides. We've been using it to cover up supports. We've been using it as supports. These pipes are very versatile and we've been using them everywhere. My only wish is that we can make them down to 25% size instead of smallest 50. Oh, I booped the mic. So sorry. So the other thing about these play structures, which I think is great, is that there's water everywhere. There's water shooting from every single facet. Everywhere you can think of, there's water coming from somewhere. If it's in a mister, it's a spout. If it isn't a spout, it's a squirt of water. If it isn't that, there's some way to turn water on and off. There's all these moving elements to make it feel very alive, and that's exactly what we were able to recreate here with all of this moving water. Now, in order to save frame rate for all of you out there, trust me, because it's gonna kill your computer a little bit or your game console, my suggestion for you is make sure the triggers are set correctly for all of the water spouts. We put all of the water spouts on triggers so that they're not constantly running and killing your frame rate with the particle with the water particles that are being produced, right? So what we do is we turned all of them on and off so that they alternate and they go into intervals and all this other stuff. But my big thing was, and you're only going to see me build one slide in this whole thing. Well, I think one slide is enough. But we used the pipes. We used the water supports, the water attraction supports. That piece right there, that submarine handle piece or whatever that is with the red on it, trust me, that piece is going to be our savior for these types of builds. And I think I'm going to want it. It's a very versatile piece, and I think we can use it everywhere, literally, especially in a water park. It gives that water park vibe for a fence, and you'll see it right here. That literally is what my park looks like. It has that fence in my park, which blew my mind when I was able to figure that out. So we finally got to use it for some of those submarine pieces. You're welcome. But here we are, we're fencing this out. And again, this is probably going to be the only area that shows this fence because literally this entire structure has this fence, and I was not going to bore you with literal hours and hours and hours of creating fences for this structure. I mean, for me, it blew my mind. Again, 22 hours to build this one attraction. And there were a couple of nuances in there. We did have to rebuild the pool. So here's a fun thing I learned. If you have a water flume that goes down and goes into a pool, the pool has to be at least wading depth. If the pool is not of wading depth, your guests will get stuck in the pool's ground and they won't move, and they'll just cause a great headache for you. So make sure that if you are utilizing the slide platforms and the flumes, that the flumes go down, the body flumes go right into wading depth, nothing more shallower, or else your guests will get caught. I love this trick too that we did with the slides, that we added just that spout of water coming out of the top and the bottom. I feel like that's a really fun way to kind of give that realism of it being a real slide, even though it's not a real slide, obviously. Valves. Let's talk valves for a second. So there are going to be valves you'll see all over the place within this build. We put the valves everywhere because on my structure that I have in my park, there are valves everywhere, and those valves turn water on, they turn water off, they make different spouts go off, they make buckets fill up and then pour on other people. So it's like all these fun things you can do with it. So we were playing with the idea of spouts, and we added a lot of these valves around the entire park. Like if I spin the valve on the right, the water underneath the platform turns on. If I spin the valve on the left, the water above your head would turn on. Again, we're just pretending here, but this is what it would be like in real life. I love these water play structures. They're so much fun. I'm actually doing a video shoot this summer on the water play structure at my park. I'm super excited for that. So moving on from here, and this is where we kind of jump around a little bit. I jumped right over to the opposite side because I wanted to build out what would this structure look like from this side, because now we have to connect it to this side of the structure. So the path queue that comes up from the main path for these sets of flumes in this platform, right? We are pretending that platform isn't the queue for the ride, but it's just a way for you to access this play structure from the other side of the lazy river. We also added water spouts underneath that bridge so that when you're going under the lazy river, you're getting this mist of water, right? So what we did was we connected to the path queue with that bridge, and now the bridge makes it look like it's all one big structure. We also added an additional platform underneath the flume platform here, and then built stepped level down, or levels of steps down, to bring us to that lower level. And then we added a bunch of water spouts, we added valves under there, and the whole idea was, again, to make it all feel like it's all one structure, when in reality only this platform and these three flumes are usable by the guests in the game. Now, Frontier, if you happen to watch this video, my suggestion to you is figure out a way to create a structure like this with a Tippie Bucket that is in game, because I don't know how you make a water park game without Tippie Buckets, but make it with Tippie Buckets in the game that the guests, just like the monkeys in Planet Zoo, would utilize these platforms and walk up and around, and then we can add slides to them. Figure it out, Frontier. I know you got the know-how. Anyway, so once again, the other thing I noticed about the structure in my park is that it has so many different levels and angles and different ways that you can go around and under and over and through. And that's what we wanted it to feel like as we built this out. We made it feel very haphazard, but in a cohesive way, that there was a clear path or a clear vision in the way we were laying this out. And how we built it was, is you get your center tower structure in the middle with the Tippie Bucket, and then that Tippie Bucket comes around and your structure comes out like a crescent moon this way, out like a crescent moon this way, and then spreads out further in both directions. And that's kind of what we went after for this one, so that you had that center grotto area of where the Tippie Bucket would fall. And that's what you see when you're entering this section of the park. From the main gate, you walk in, and what you see is our little kiddie pool with the pirate play structure, and then right behind that is this giant Tippie Bucket and the massive play structure right behind it. And it is multifaceted access, right? So you've got access from the lazy river, you've got access from where the restaurant is going to be when we get to that point of building that, and then you've got access from, which is interesting if you look at where we built the other short slides by the front of the park. Treetopper, I think we called it. You'll see that there's a big bridge that we build that goes over that, over the lazy river, and leads you to the main entrance, or closest to the main entrance of this structure. Shout out to our team about our following, by the way, all you guys out there. Cannonball Cove, you guys named this. I appreciate you guys for that. Thanks for voting, for those of you that voted. And I think that's what we're going to do to name our rides moving forward. We're going to have you guys name them. So thank you for that. Pay attention to this. Ready? This is my piece de resistance for this build. I needed to cover up those blue fences. Frontier, again, can we please have a toggle for this fence so we can build our own fences? I don't feel like this fence is necessary for those of us that are playing at this level of depth. Let's get rid of these fences. There's no reason for them, especially when we're building our own. Anyway, moving on. So here we are building our lower structures underneath underneath the main platform. Obviously, these are the unusable portions, but again, each layer has some sort of water somewhere, right? So we threw in this valve here, and this is now a broken valve, if you will, right? You can't reach it, you can't spin it, it's just forever spewing out mists of water. If you want to walk under there and just hide from the sun, maybe you're in the shade, like that's your vibe. So let's talk a little bit about the channel for a second here and kind of talk about where we've been and what's been going on. Sorry, I have not been as active on live. We usually go live almost every day. Work has been hectic and crazy the past 2 weeks. We are getting ready to roll out a huge announcement for our park. We are celebrating a milestone birthday year for this year. So we have a lot of planning that's been going on. It's been very busy at work. And between that and family, I've been focused on kind of like doing my own thing, but we will be back going on daily live starting tomorrow. Well, no, actually, it would be tomorrow. Tomorrow as of filming, tonight as of when you're viewing it, and if you're viewing it past Thursday of this week, then yesterday or the day before. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, so here we are. So this is the... Don't mind me. These are the shooter guns I was talking about from Mio Art. They are amazing. Find them on the workshop. Subscribe to them. They are fantastic. I've got them all over this build. And this is exactly what my park has. Like, it looks identical to what my park has, right? There are these water shooty guns that are just fantastic. So thank you, Mio Art. On the live, when you suggested I download them and add them to the build, I super, super, super appreciate it. Oh, I lied. I guess I left one of these slides in. Yeah, you've seen me build these slides before. We did it on the kitty play structure back in the theme park. And obviously we built one earlier on. Speaking of the theme park, who's ready to go back to the theme park? I am so ready. I had a lot of fun in the water park. And yes, there's still more to do in the water park, but we're moving back to the theme park. I need a break from this. I'm not going to lie. The water rides are just, I think they've exasperated every bit of essence I have in my body. But it was super fun. It was super fun to build and to put this all together, but I think I need a break from the water park. I need to go back to the theme park. And what do we have planned? Well, we are going Viking. That's right, friends. We're going to jump into the theme park. We're going to, well, the next episode, the goal is we're going to, do a little bit of touch-ups that I want to do around what we've already built within the Polynesia area of our theme park. And then once we move out of the Polynesia area, we'll start working on the Viking area. And we've got some big things planned. There's going to be a roller coaster, a big roller coaster here. I'm thinking, even though this is central to the park, this is going to be more like a family-oriented section of the park. So picture Wildwood Grove at Dollywood. If you don't know what that is, Google it. That's kind of the energy I'm going for. So we've got kiddie rides in there. We've got family rides in there. There may or may not be a coaster coming. I'll let you guys stew on that and kind of figure out what direction I'm looking to bring this. But I'm thinking Wildwood Grove. I wanted to have that kind of energy of like a kids area and just build that out. So here we are. Now that we got our structure kind of built out on our right side, we had an idea of adding greenery up here just to break up the brown and the yellow. And Mio had a great idea of adding these palm trees. And we put them in. We put them in with the water squirting down originally. And I was like, you know what? I don't like the water going through the platform. So what we did is we put the misters in, and I was like, duh, this is amazing, right? Imagine walking through these open platforms that are open to the sun, and you're just walking through mist spraying on you. Oh, it sounds so satisfying on a hot day. Anyway, so we put those in, and that was kind of like, for me, the coffin, the nail in the coffin, as far as the direction we were bringing this. I wanted to feel like treetop, shantytown kind of energy, right? But banana was the basis, right? So you've got these palm trees kind of strewed around. You've got these shanty buildings. You got this is the only building with the straw top with the thatched roof. I did that on purpose. I only wanted one of them because thatch and water, really, you'd be growing moss at the top of your play structure. So, and this is a little controversial for me and kind of what I was doing here, but I was trying to figure out now, like for this next step, like what do we do? Like where do we bring this? So I wanted to line that slide to go right underneath this platform. So you like let out underneath this, like, layered section. And then we needed to figure out, well, if you're entering this section, because this is the only way to get in, there's only way to get in through the water is through here. So this has got to be where the main entrance is, right? And that's what we did. We kind of built the platform out that way, and that would be your main entrance, and that's where our Cannonball Cove logo comes into play at the top of the video. And you'll see all of that in glamour shots towards the end. We did a really fun time. I had a really fun time building out the glamour shots for this one. It was such a great build. But here we are. So the other thing my park has, it has this section that's all stonework, even though it's not real stone, right? But it's stonework, and that's like the basis of the castle, of the water castle, of the play structure, right? So I wanted to create this like central moment at the base of our Tippie Bucket, that this is where maybe, I don't know, the conquistador built his fort, right? And this is like the central area underneath the splash bucket that you kind of get that energy. And these wall pieces are phenomenal for stone steps, for stone walls. I created, you'll see a little bit later in the video, we create a turret kind of wall. Turrets, that's what they're called, where they go up and down. I don't know, you'll see. But I don't know what they're called. But yeah, so we built these out all using this same stone piece, and I think this is fantastic for the game, and I think you can do a lot with this. You can totally build castles. So I think I don't know. We're gonna be seeing some castles coming in the Viking section. I haven't figured out exactly what Viking looks like yet. I want to get the groundwork down with our roller coaster. That will be the next episode, the touch-ups and the build out of the roller coaster, possibly. And we'll go from there. So one thing I did notice when we were building this is we didn't have a kiddie level, right? So this is for like toddlers. We've got, at my park, we've got 3 of these on my castle structure, and they're all these, literally it's just like a 1-foot drop or a 2-foot drop into a little splashdown. So we did build this for the kids. Again, it's a little off because of the water depth. I would have much rather have had this shallow, but in order to maintain the like we were talking about earlier, maintain the safety of our guests and not getting stuck in the pool's floor, we kept it at the deeper depth, and I'm fine with it. I can't wait. We're getting closer and closer to my favorite part. I built this bridge coming up soon. You've no idea. I'm like over the moon with this bridge. I think it looks so good. It gives totally the vibe of like Planet Coaster 1 energy, right? Remember we did for the rum runners, we did like that whole like where we put the rum barrels on the like the curved or the angled part. It's kind of that same energy that we created with the rum runners, but we did it with the bridge, and then we've got like canopies over it. We've got ropes hanging. It really plays the part so well. But here's the main entrance section. Now, again, we wanted this to feel like maybe it's like a conquistador's, like I said, a conquistador's ruin that has been overtaken by pirates, and this is their shanty town in the treetops, right? That's totally what we went after, and I think we were able to really just create that energy and that vibe here. Again, the whole idea was to build out all of the rock work around. We added some of the oh my goodness, what are they called? You know, the little white things that grow on rocks in the sea? Oh, I can't remember what they're called. Barnacles. Yes, those. And again, this is kind of the idea where it's just like, these are just the ruins, and then the pirates came and they built on top of it. And that's what we were able to kind of create here with this. And we just used the same roof structure, the Viking roof structure, because we like the underside of it with all of the wood embellishments that kind of speak to the framework. And then we just threw some stuff. Oh, I just clapped right in your ears, didn't I? I'm so sorry. We threw the thing, the resort fence right on top of it to create that like wooden shingle. And that just really plays the part across the board. And here it was just all about creating like the framework that speaks to this energy of Viking. And we do wind up covering this up in the front with the Cannonball logo, which you saw at the top of the video. Cannonball Cove logo, not Cannonball Cove logo. Oh, here's my bridge. My excitement, can you tell? So this is the Cannonball Cove's bridge. This will lead you from the main area over by Treetopper. So if you didn't want to swim all the way around in the lazy river or walk around, you could walk over this bridge, and it'll take you right to the main entrance of Cannonball Cove's structure. And I was trying to be really conscious here of like what the spacing would look like. There's a lot of poles in the lazy river here. We do dial that back some. When we go back, we kind of see what would work, what doesn't work. And we created like little areas for the guests to swim through. I really wish they did use the floaties more. They don't use the floaties enough in my opinion, but it is what it is. I'm not going to cry over it. It could be worse. But yeah, here we are. I didn't show you me making the fence and stretching the rope. I mean, you've seen that 1,000 times already from me. But I did show putting on the canopies here. And I really wanted to just have this central moment that spoke to this bridge kind of walking over and just gave a little bit more depth and a feeling of energy to the area. Even though it's not moving, right? It feels alive. You know, and that's what this does, and that's what I was going after. We did it with a lot of the foliage underneath it as well and around it to really build up this area and make it feel like there's more here. And I just love the way it came out. So that's it. The structure's done at this point. Now we had this open area over here, and my head was like, okay, well, we need some sort of thing for like little kids within this pool. Let's say mom's here and the older kids are playing on the big structure, but you're here with your toddlers and you want to do something. You bring them over to this little mini fort, if you will. It has cannons that shoot off of one end, a cannon that shoots into the lazy river. And then you could just climb up to the top. You can climb around it. I didn't add a fence to this. I did just realize that. So what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to probably build a fence for the staircase going up this. But as you can see, we build this staircase using these Viking stone wall pieces, which I think are just fantastic. Such a great addition to the game. And I'm going to be really miffed when they bring pirates back into the game because I built all this on my own. It's fine. It's fine. It could totally be worse. But here we are. We're building out our little grotto here, and we add like water elements. We add a lot of foliage on this. And again, this is just another piece of the puzzle to speak to the theming without it being too over themed. You know what I mean? When I think of like, I'll use Six Flags Great Adventure as the example. There are water rapids that they have. It's very sparse, but there are 2 or 3 elements that are overly themed. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the idea that I went with here. Very similar to what we did with Kanaloa back in the theme park. And I can't wait to get back in the theme park. I hope you guys are excited too. But yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to build out Viking. I have so many ideas. My brain is literally tingling. We're definitely going to use the water. Oh, look, there we are. See what we're doing? We're creating turrets for the top of our little battlement here, if you will. But yes, my little brain is tingling. I've got a lot of ideas for what we're going to do for the Viking section. I want it to feel Viking, but I don't want it to be over themed. So it's kind of playing with that happy medium of what does Viking look like in a mid-tier theme park. And that's what we're going after. Mid-tier theme park. I don't want it to be low budget, but I don't want it to be overly themed. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards at this point. I love the way this came out. This just looks so good. And then with all the foliage around it, again, we'll show you guys in the glamour shots coming up soon. But as we're getting closer to that, I want to thank you guys for joining and watching the video. I appreciate every single one of you. Like, comment, subscribe. And until the next one, guys, keep on building. Thanks so much for joining. Catch you next time.